most churches in America are buying curriculum for their kids, I thought. And I still think that. But most international places that I've been did not have that. The pastors aren't paid, many of them. Mark, I don't know if you have an example from Nicaragua that you would even want to share, but there just isn't budgets for this kind of stuff. I met with the doctoral committee of Baptist Bible Seminary in October, I think it was October 2013, and said I wanted to write a chronological curriculum. Would they accept that for my doctoral dissertation? They said it has to be creative, has to be used in your ministry, and it has to be something else, and I forget. Anyway, as he's checked, that's a green light. That's a green light. This is going to happen. I didn't want to do it just to have another degree. Nobody cares if I have another degree. I don't care if I have another degree. It didn't make. But when I knew that I had the motivation to do that, and it was mostly paid for because, well, half paid for because ABW and Baptist Bible Seminary have this relationship that if you're a full-time missionary, you get 15 hours out of the 34-hour program free. So I thought, okay, I'll do that. I only ended up spending 3 weeks on campus and did classwork in Harrisburg, and then this became my dissertation. And my main thing that I wanted from it was I wanted to give it away. There was no royalties for me. There isn't any royalties. You can buy this in 2 ways right now. On the website, 99adventures.org, which maybe I can get up for you here sometime, are all the completed translations. There are 9 completed translations right now available as free PDF downloads. English is one of those. You can buy it off of Amazon for $11.42, and when you do that, you'll get, if you're a Prime member, you'll get it in 2 or 3 days. I get nothing for it. Either way, I don't get anything for it because I made a commitment, Susan and I made a commitment that there's just going to be part of our life to do it that way. The majority of the writing took place in 2014, and I thought, I hope somebody reads this. This is a lot of work. And for the majority of 2014, morning, afternoon, night, 7 days a week when I wasn't traveling, I was in my office researching and writing. We got to Christmas of 2014, and it hit me. We haven't even taken a vacation this year. I didn't even think about it till the end of the year, that every moment was devoted to morning, afternoon, evening, researching and writing. And so we got to the end of 2014, and I defended it for the doctoral committee in January of 2015. And they came back after I defended it for an hour and a half. They spent 20 minutes talking about it. They came back and said to me, do you want us to call you Dr. Cook or something else? And I'm going, yes. That was the biggest high five moment for me. It was very cool. But as I was writing in 2014, I thought, I hope somebody reads this because I'm really not writing for the American church, to be honest with you. I was writing for our international friends that don't have the choices that you have. And then it began somebody from Ecuador, ABW Ecuador, said, I've got a church that wants a project. Do you have a project to the Ecuador missionary? And they asked me, could we have your curriculum translated into Spanish? At that point in 2016, it was only in English. I said, sure. So a church paid for the translation, and it became in Spanish. And then our French, well, we've been in Haiti a number of times, as you know. We can't go there now because of all the violence and stuff. Our French friend, our Haitian friend, who is just a really great man, he said, if you'll feed our orphans, and he has about 400 orphans, if you'll feed our orphans, I'll translate to French. And I go, well, that's a deal. So we did French. We took care of some meals, and he did the translation. The interesting thing about the French was Haiti speaks Creole. Creole's kind of a street French like a dirty French, if I can say it that way. It's just not, it's not publishable. It's a street language. And these are the miracles that God works. In 5 believers in Marseille, France, I've never met them, I don't know their names, got a hold of the curriculum, retired people, and said, we've noticed some problems with the French translation that you have, that our Haitian friend did, but they didn't know that. Could we clean it up? And my first thought was, yes, you could. How much do you want to do that? And they said, no, we understand the value of what you're doing. We'll do it for free. So 5 believers in Marseille, France, spent a long time, months, cleaning up the French translation. And then we had French, and then somebody volunteered to do Romanian, and then Bengali, then Burmese, then Nepali, then Russian, then Swara. Susan and I were we hosted a dinner for pastors in Calcutta, India, just to tell them, you're doing a good job, keep up the good work. And at that point I was giving away books in my library because I thought these books have been my friends as a gift for them. I wanted them to say, these are my friends, I want to give you some of my friends, my books. And one of the pastors, Bhagati, I don't know if you remember Bhagati, Kurt? Bhagati said to me, can I bring a friend? And I said, sure. Bhagati brought a friend named Eleazar. Eleazar came, and I was running out of books, so I gave him, Eleazar's bilingual, so I gave him a copy of 99 Adventures. Months later, Eleazar said, I found out he's the director of the Swara churches in southern India. The Swara churches are 900, maybe 1,000 churches with 40 to 50,000 kids in their churches today. Eleazar says, can we translate this? I said, sure. It just finished, 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago? So the Swara is finished. I was speaking at a missions conference. Oh no, it was a small group in Pennsylvania when we still lived in Pennsylvania. When we were in the process anyway. And it was a small group. We met at a restaurant, a diner, and they wanted me to present the ministry. I presented the ministry with maybe 15 people there. And somebody brought a friend, of all things, brought a friend. And I was telling them about some of the ministry. One of the things I mentioned was a Swara. And the man came up to me and said, how much would it cost to print one book for every church in Swara? And I went back to our friends. They gave me the price. And the man said, I'll take care of that. This is a guy who, I couldn't tell you his name today, that came one time. He's a retired guy in North Carolina, said, I want to pay for 900 churches to have this book. It's just those kind of miracles that God has done that you just can't explain. It's not Jim, it's not Susan. This has been an unbelievable trip over the last 7 years for Susan and myself, that most of you who know me have been around for a while, never would have dreamed this. It really isn't us. It really is God doing a really special thing that I never dreamed of, never would have seen, never saw it coming. I was just hoping somebody would read it when I was writing it. And now I look at what God's doing, and it's really awesome. So I want to familiarize yourself with the book because you're going to be involved in the book from here the rest of the day. So if you'll turn to page 270. And I randomly picked lesson 54 because every lesson is going to be like this. Up at the top you see the adventure number. Basically it's the story number. There's 99 stories. Story number 1 is from Genesis 1:1. God is the all-powerful one, Elohim. And the ending in Revelation Adventure 99. Story number 1, so the top line's the story. The passage that it comes from, if it comes from multiple passages I listed, so you can see where it comes from. And then the storyline. What you may want to do sometime is just read the storylines. Read the storyline of lesson 1, the storyline of lesson 2, the storyline of lesson 3. And the reason I say that is we're emphasizing the story, the meta-narrative, the big story that's told from beginning to end. If you just read the storylines, you would get in a real short version, and if we had longer with you, we would do that or something like that. Just read the storylines so you understand what's going on. The storyline is basically a sentence or two that summarizes the verses that are right above it. Most of our teachers are, well, some of them are not saved, to be honest with you, where we go. So I put study notes in here so that they would have study notes, almost like a commentary kind of thing. And we're on page 270 right now still. So the study notes are on the left side. These are done before class, as it says in number 1. So then when you're ready to start teach, you go to begin the lesson, number 2, on page 271. Every lesson's laid out the same. And begin the lesson is a review of the previous, 4 or 5 lessons or the previous lessons in the past. Why would I do that? Why would I lay that out? And this is kind of unique to me, the reason I did that. I don't have a template that I went to somewhere out there saying, oh, this is good to do, this here. Why would I lay this out like this to have a review at the beginning when we haven't taught anything yet?
Find out what they know.
Find out what they know? Good, Jim. Yeah. Basically, I was thinking something like this. Kids weren't paying attention last week. Kids were absent last week. Kids were starting to attend in the middle of the story. We're talking about a 2-year process going through this, maybe. Kids were thinking about their boyfriend or their girlfriend, or, we're playing with each other, fiddling, and they didn't get it. So I laid this out to start out with review over the previous lessons so that as the story is told and unfolded, those that forgot, those that weren't paying attention, those that weren't present could get caught up to date. So that's why it's laid out. Number 2 is a begin the lesson. Teach the lesson. Number 3, there's a short hook, basically to get them involved in listening. And then storytelling. I never have 3 points. I never have a poem. I don't think I have any poems. And I don't have any crafts. The reason I don't have any crafts is because I don't know what you can get in Haiti. I don't know what you can get in Cuba. I don't know what you can get anywhere else. I just laid it out so you don't have to buy anything. So if you're looking for crafts, go to Susan, go to Pinterest, go to somewhere else. I did that intentionally so that we would. This is how I would tell the story, and we're on page 272, to children. In Haiti, the pastors use this. It just depends on, I'm asked regularly, how is this laid out? What age group? That depends on your educational level, I think. Some high schoolers are using it, some pastors are using it. It was kind of laid out when thinking in our general categories of 6 to 12-year-olds, but it could be older, it could be younger, it could be pastors. Tell the story is how I would tell the story to children. There's always an activity with every event of the lesson. And the reason for that is wherever we go, this is the kind of learning that we come across. Repeat after me, Mark. I said, go into all the world.
I said, go into all the world.
And if you don't get it, you get slapped in the face. Or something like that. He repeats after me, and it goes nowhere. You repeat after me, and I thought, that's not how I want to teach, or that's not how I want our teachers to teach. So we put activities in there, and we're teaching interactively here and when we're overseas. And Susan will tell you probably of the Cuban story of when we're creating music. It was really fun. So there's a lot of activities for a reason. It took a lot of research to come with that. You're going to look at these in just a few minutes, the activities. So there's a activity with every tell the story, and I think if they're not all different, they're mostly different. There's a memory verse with the memory verse activity. There's praise and worship. That was a mistake when I wrote the book. We have since learned in our training that we're going to write and create our own music. You, in a few minutes, will write and create your own music. And I know what you're thinking. Listen, I'm afraid to play the piano because I'm married to a piano teacher. I don't play the piano because there's a little fear in me going, I don't do that, this will be a fun activity for everybody. I promise you. Don't you'll like it. The way Susan has designed it is it's a fun thing. Praise and worship. We don't use this what you see there printed anymore, and you'll see why in a few minutes. There's a Bible activity, just a Bible activity. All going back to the storyline. The storyline is critical for what the activities, the memory verse, the story, all of that. Then there's a review of the lesson. This review is different than the first one at the begin. This review on page 274 is reviewing this lesson. So reviewing this lesson is important because I want the kids to get reinforced. They heard it, they memorized it, they had an activity about that, they sang it, and now we're going to review it again. And again, it's to drive home the storyline, of the summary of the passages so that the kids can hopefully see and do and put into their muscles what they're learning. So it's real important, the whole thing, and then apply the lesson. Every lesson is laid out similar to that. So let's do this. We're gonna do a sword drill. Everybody get your sword up here, or your 99 adventures, as we say, and tell me what the Bible activity is for lesson 37. So whenever you get it down. Tell me what the Bible activity is for lesson 37. And whenever you get it, just holler it out.
Thou shalt not lie.
Okay, and the activity is, Austin?
That's a good question. I don't know. Someone else showed up.
Okay.
The umbrella, yeah.
The umbrella, okay. All right. Somebody tell me the apply the lesson for lesson 21.
Deception, truthfulness, choice.
Good. Okay. Somebody tell me the tell the story activity for lesson 90.
What are you asking for? The faith.
I forget. What?
The faith.
Tell the story activity for lesson 90.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So thanks, Allison. Sorry. Okay. You get the idea. Would somebody volunteer to read the back of the book? Just the back page right here. Somebody's got a voice that can be heard by everybody. Judy, did you volunteer?
Have you ever wondered why children are so confused about the meaning of the Bible? Perhaps it is because they have never learned how to connect the stories of the Bible into one simple big picture. In 99 Adventures, children will understand the Bible's big story of redemption from Genesis to Revelation. 99 Adventures is a curriculum that tells the one big story in the Bible. Highly interactive methods are used to help impact children for greater retention. These lessons can be used as a curriculum in a church, home, or school. Jim was a children's pastor for 22 years in Indiana when God led he and his wife Susan into international children's ministry. Together they have traveled to over 30 countries and trained leaders how to evangelize and disciple their children. Jim and Susan have 3 grown children and 4 grandchildren. For over 30 years they have enjoyed sharing life together as well as serving their great God.
Thank you, Judy. And that just kind of gives you an overview of why the book was written. There are 99 stories here. Some are teaching it in here. I think Paula, some of you, the school is teaching it. Is that right?
Yeah, second grade at Bethesda Christian School, and I think first grade might be also.
Right. Yeah. And Tony, you're using it in the, yeah, Nathan. I'm sorry, Nathan Pollard. Nate, Deacon Nate, you're using it in the Vine. Is that correct? Right. Yeah. So, And I think it's just helpful just to learn the story. We're talking about embracing the gospel and embracing it in a way that it's really important. It's not just for kids, for us to tell the kids. That's why I wrote it. But it's not just it's for all of us to embrace the story. So anyway, this is your copy to have. We have some other things to give you in a few minutes.
Jim, why don't you tell a story or two about the writing of the 99 Adventures or the use of it that you've come across?
Well, when I was writing it, I was hoping somebody would read what I was writing. And now there's at least 9 translations of 99 Adventures in different languages, soon to be 12 languages. And what's exciting to me is to hear of believers all over the world that are interested in telling their children about Jesus. When I was writing, I didn't know what would happen, and now I see people from places I've never been, never heard of, probably will never ever be able to get to, that want their children to know who Jesus is from the beginning of the Bible to the end of the Bible. And it has exceeded my wildest dreams that what God has done to allow kids to hear all over the place. And I would have never dreamed that, and it's been so exciting to see what God has done for that. We've also been able to put those on the website to make them free to everybody because I want it to be free. And we're making everything available as free downloads. And I think you're going to tell our friends a little bit about the website. Is that right, Susan?
Yes. The website is 99adventures.org. And on that website, you'll find every translation that has been completed thus far. Of course, English and whichever other ones are available. You want to show the English one just as review. Hopefully you have a copy of this, or if not, you can find it on the website, which again is 99adventures.org. And another resource that is available there is the Preschool Adventures in the Bible's Big Story. And this is a kind of a companion curriculum that's designed to go right along with the older children's version. And it has a different format to it. You can look at it and let us know what you think. We spend 2 weeks on each lesson. So there are 26 lessons in the Preschool Adventures, which translates to 52 weeks, a whole year of teaching. And it combines some of the lessons and leaves certain ones out, but it's a smaller thing that you can use to teach your preschoolers, and we're excited about that. This one has not been translated into as many languages as the original one, but it is available for translation. Also on the website, you'll find a coloring book that is also a free download that you can use to have the children color a picture if you want to print a copy for everyone, or if you want to use it as a teaching picture, you can color a copy yourself and use it as a teaching picture to go along with your lesson. So I hope you'll visit the website and let us know if you would like to see something else on there, but it's there for you to use, and everything on it is a free download.
We're so happy that you want your children to know about Jesus, and we're here to be alongside of you to let this story be known around the world so that children can hear about Jesus and respond in faith to who he is and what he's done.